My name is Julie. I live in Canada. I wanted to start this YouTube channel because I believe that there is not enough discussion going on about what's happening in the world. I believe that humans have really lost their way and that there is a solution. Whether or not you want to see it is totally up to you. I just know when I start talking about my feelings and voicing my opinions about things, there's a lot of people that come back at me and say, well, me too. I feel the same way, or I think the same thing. But then they want to give up and just say, well, this is the way it is. Nothing's going to change. And there are a lot of people that are afraid to speak up about what's really on their mind, mostly because they see things going on in like the UK, where people are being arrested over posts that they make on social media or comments. And they really feel it's unfair and they're afraid to go to jail, or they're afraid of the repercussions of speaking out against the status quo or about their government. We do live in a democracy. We should be allowed to criticize our government and to ask questions, because the truth doesn't mind being questioned, only lies fear being revealed. People are afraid to lose their quality of life. People are afraid to lose everything they've worked so hard to maintain, like their housing, their jobs. They're worried their quality of life is going to go down if they speak out. I personally have lost a lot in my life. I grew up very traumatized, a very abusive family. I've experienced tremendous loss on all aspects of my life. And I've come to a point where I'm not afraid anymore. What's the worst that can happen? They'll shut down my channel or I'll get thrown in jail. Honestly, that doesn't scare me. And I think we should be able to have these open conversations about what's going on in the world and the way people are treated. I believe that the best way to move forward and to create a better planet for us all to live on is to have these open conversations, no matter how uncomfortable they are. We should be able to question the motive in our governments. We should be able to live more freely. And I know a lot of people will disagree and say, oh, well, what freedoms do we not have? Any type of law that comes to effect that restricts you in some way is restricting your very own basic rights. Just last night, I watched a movie called Pistachio Wars, where billionaires are actually diverting water away from communities so that they can maintain their status quo. And at the same time, they're denying a very basic human right to people in small towns in California. Water is a human right. We need it to survive. But yet all these billionaires keep thinking about is money. And I disagree with that. I think we need to start healing as a society, start realizing that we do have toxic traits in our society and work on ways to heal that. I am personally am not a life coach. I'm not a trained professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a guru. I'm just a woman with some opinions and thoughts that I really want to share with people. Like I said before, when I start sharing these thoughts, I'm hearing a lot of, me too, I agree with you, there needs to be change. And I'm hoping to really promote that by having this channel. I did have a TikTok for a while, and I shared some of my videos on Instagram at _raw.julie. But most of the feedback have been people whose beliefs don't align with me. And that's okay. They're allowed to comment. They're allowed to say whatever they want. But these are not the people I'm reaching out to. 80% of people lacked critical thinking skills. School teaches us to think outside the box, but just not too far. As long as we're creating innovation to help, line pockets of corporations, that's permitted. But as soon as you talk about actual change that'll progress, push humans forward, that's not allowed, because unless it's profitable, they won't allow you to have those thoughts. I have no team behind me. This is just me running this. So my first few videos are probably going to be pretty choppy, pretty novice. And that's okay. I would rather be imperfectly sharing my opinions and thoughts rather than keeping them to myself and being miserable. I believe that staying silent and going with the status quo creates complacency. And we only remain silent again because of that fear. We're tired all day from working. We come home, we do chores, we make supper, spend some time with their family, would doom scroll. I mean, most people don't even make it to the gym, don't invest in their body, don't look after their health because we're so tired all the time and so focused on survival that having these deep conversations is very difficult. And most people just accept that, oh, okay, so this thing is happening, so this is what we're doing now. And they just keep going along their day. Just recently, there's been bombings in Iran, the Epstein files, some pages were released, and people that just keep it going on and on their day. They're angry. They're upset that these are the people that are running our country. These are the people that are controlling our lives and making laws and legislation and making changes and sending money overseas and spending money on bombs instead of investing in social programs for the people they represent. But nobody's really doing anything about it to generate change. And I found that anybody who is elected as a politician that wants to make change never gets in a position that's powerful enough to invest in those changes, to make those changes happen. So what can we do as an individual? I personally believe that healing yourself, dealing with your inner trauma will help heal the earth. And I know this sounds like some tree-hugging hippie shit. And trust me, my kids tell me this all the time. But the way our world looks outside is a direct reflection of how we are inside. So if we're dealing with inner turmoil, if we're dealing with inner trauma, if we're hating ourselves, dealing with self-loathing, or even if we're being abusive to other people, it's going to show up in our symptoms of our humanity, in our community. We cannot heal our society, we cannot heal the earth until we heal ourselves. We need a small group of individuals who are willing to generate that change, generate that healing, to be the leaders and start this. If we want a better future for our kids, then we need to start making change. As it is, people are not having children. The birth rate is dropping because people can see the future is not going to be as great as it was, the past has been for us. So if all this sounds like stuff that you agree with, and you want to generate change, you want to start something, then please give me a follow, subscribe, and let me know what you think. My plan is to cover a variety of topics. Just my first day of thinking about this channel, within 5 minutes I generate like 30 topics I want to talk about, from fear and self-love and self-care to the problems with politicians and our planet. So I want to cover different topics, maybe 1 or 2 times a week, see how things go, see what the feedback's like. I'm always willing to change based upon the feedback. I just feel like I need an outlet and a way to get my message across to the right people. You're more than welcome to provide criticism if you want. I will address the ones that I can. As far as citing studies and resources, I will try to do as much as I can, but I really want you to do the footwork as well, because I can tell you whatever I think or things that I've researched, but until you see it for yourself and you're willing to do the work yourself to do that research, I'm not going to change your mind. So thank you for watching and listening. Feel free to share this with people who are like-minded, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.